Welcome to Reading to My Dogs. Today we're going to talk about Bon Scott and the lyrics to his famous song, Highway to Hell. Before I do, let me introduce you to Pip. This is Pip sitting in the front, and Marshmallow, he's busy sleeping at the back there. Dolly's also on the bed, but she doesn't seem too keen to be on camera. So we'll just pop into Highway to Hell. The reason I want to talk about Bon Scott is because I love AC/DC, and so I'm happy to share a little story about Bon Scott, and I'm going to analyse the lyrics of their famous song, Highway to Hell. The Bon Scott was the second lead singer and lyricist for AC/DC, a heavy metal band formed here in Perth, Western Australia. Ron Belfer Bon Scott was born 9th of July 1946 in Forfarren in Angus, Scotland. In 1952, when Bon was 6 years old, his family moved to Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, and then in 1956 they moved to Fremantle, Western Australia. He grew up in Fremantle, which is where he met Angus and Malcolm Young, and the rest, as they like to say, is history. In 1974, Bon replaced Dave Evans as the lead vocalist of AC/DC. Bon performed on the band's first 7 albums, and today I'll be looking at the lyrics to their song Highway to Hell, which was written in 1979. Bon co-wrote Highway to Hell with Malcolm and Angus Young. The Highway to Hell album reached a top 20 in the United States and was their commercial breakthrough. In 2003, Highway to Hell ranked 199th on the Rolling Stones' The 500 Greatest Albums of All Time, and it was ranked 254th on the Rolling Stones' The 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. Bon Scott unfortunately died from acute alcohol poisoning on the 19th of February 1980. He fell asleep in a friend's car while in East Dulwich, London, and was found deceased later that day. For people who don't know the Australian culture very well, we love to have a drink, get drunk, have a good time, especially when it comes to going to pubs, seeing live music and listening to rock and roll. Bon's blood alcohol content was recorded as 0.208, and his death was classified as death by misadventure. Bon's ashes are interred in Fremantle Cemetery in Fremantle, Western Australia. I have visited Bon's grave several times, the last time being in 2019, just after his birthday. A fan had left a handwritten note saying, "Happy birthday, Bon, 72, and Dirty Eyes, great song, RIP. 28 years after his death, the National Trust of Australia declared his grave important enough to be included on the list of heritage places. It is reportedly the most visited grave in Australia. I have included photos of his grave and of his Heritage Walk Trail 1 sign. I also included photos of my dog, Mr. Truffles, paying respects to Bon. He was a good enough dog to sniff the roses at his grave and to be still and show respect." The Fremantle Fishing Boat Harbour unveiled a statue of Bon Scott on the 24th of February 2008, and it should be noted that East Dulwich in London has erected a plaque in the memory of Bon Scott. These are the lyrics to Highway to Hell. Verse 1. "Livin' easy, lovin' free, season ticket on a one-way ride, askin' nothin', leave me be, takin' everything in my stride. Don't need reason, don't need rhyme, ain't nothing that I'd rather do, going down, party time, my friends are going to be there too." AC/DC's manager tells the story of visiting Bon in hospital in Melbourne after a drug overdose. Bon was bragging to him that the last time he was in that hospital he was visiting 2 separate girls, both unknown to each other, who were giving birth to his kids at the same time. He believes this is the inspiration for the first verse of the song. The chorus states, "I'm on the highway to hell, on the highway to hell, Highway to hell, I'm on the highway to hell. Verse 2. No stop signs, speed limit. Nobody's gonna slow me down. Like a wheel, gonna spin it. Nobody's gonna mess me around. Hey Satan, paying my dues, playing in a rockin' band. Hey mama, look at me. I'm on the way to the promised land. This verse refers to Canning Highway, which is a highway that runs between Perth and Fremantle. It's also about the perils of touring with AC/DC's grueling tour schedule. Canning Highway ends at a bar called the Raffles, and as the highway ends, it comes to a steep decline and is the site of many accidents. Many drivers have died after driving fast over that intersection on a night out. The final chorus has the same I'm on the highway to hell refrain with the addition of the following words. And I'm going down. All the way, I'm on the highway to hell. Finally, I'd like to say that the vernacular is very Australian in the way that they drop the end of the word, such as livin', lovin', taken, all of which have the last letter dropped off the word. Also, you can see in the word gonna, which is the Australian way of saying going to, as in, my friends are going to be there too. But in Australia, we say, my friends are going to be there too. So that's a little look at Highway to Hell. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Bon Scott was a lovable Australian larrikin and he was taken way too soon. He is a true rock legend. Rest in peace, Bon Scott. Thanks for joining us today. May your billy always boil. Please join us again next time for another Australian story. And as you know, dear sweet Sassy passed away, but my husband has been kind enough to get me a cute little papillon puppy who'll be joining us for the next story. Thanks for joining us. Have a good week.